All right, here we go. We are back from closed session, and we're going to go ahead and reconvene with actions taken in closed session.
No actions to read out.
Okay, that takes us to our invocation by Trustee Jay, and then the Pledge of Allegiance by Trustee Jamal.
Our Heavenly Father, we bow our heads in gratitude for the many blessings we have, particularly during this season of Thanksgiving. We are truly blessed to live in this country with all our freedoms, liberties, and opportunities. We are thankful to have our colleges and all their fabulous facilities. We are totally blessed with all the wonderful people who make up South Orange County Community College District what it is. We are thankful for our faculty, staff, and particularly our students. Help us to live with gratitude and thanksgiving daily. We thank Thee for the community support of our colleges and foundations in our efforts to provide a quality education and workforce development. We are thankful for our scholarship programs made possible by the unselfish giving of many people, groups, and businesses, which have made it possible for students to attend who may not have been able without their assistance. We thank Thee for our outstanding veteran programs, for the leaders of these programs, especially for the veterans who have sacrificed so much to preserve our freedoms. We ask that you be with this board tonight to help us make wise decisions for the future direction of the district and students. Let us show gratitude this season by serving others. Amen.
Please join with me in reciting the pledge. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this point, we'll move on to public comments. I do have one request to speak from Kathy Schmeidler, who certainly does not need to be reminded to try and keep it to 2 minutes.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I am Kathy Schmeidler, and I don't need to be reminded, but that's not quite the same as actually succeeding. I don't think I'll go on unless you ask me questions. I'm here to speak on behalf of the foundations, and in particular the IVC Foundation, especially in the light of various things that happened at the previous board meeting. I don't know Kathleen Burke very well. Obviously, I've met her, but I don't know her very well. But it's not my impression or my supposition that she's a maverick. If indeed she is not a maverick or a rebel, then her directives to district leadership presumably are guided by what the board suggests or directs to her, or possibly by misunderstandings. If it's the board's intention to eviscerate or abolish the two college and the district foundations, let this be stated publicly and honestly. Then all the people involved with the foundations will understand the plan and their fate. Funds can be returned to donors or transferred to other nonprofits, since it's certainly not the intention of donors to simply fund college or district services operational budgets, nor to fill the coffers of or provide slush funds for the Board of Trustees or the district leadership. I don't believe that that's the case, however. If it is not the board's intention to emasculate or otherwise radically alter the effectiveness of the foundations, I would hope that the board direct the Chancellor to guide and encourage the other people in district leadership to find ways to support the foundations rather than throwing up barriers. Leadership in any organization is not a policing function. Components of the organization should all be directing their energies to support the goals and visions of the organization. Leaders, whether the elected leaders on the Board of Trustees or employees such as the upper administration, excuse me, at what I wish I could call district supportive services. You probably remember long fights with Gary Portner about that phrasing. And at the colleges, they should be leaders. That means keeping their eyes on the ball, on the goal, on the purpose of the enterprise, and finding ways to encourage and support all the various ways in which other members of the community contribute. If there really are problems in any of the three foundations, real leaders, good leaders, would hunt for solutions. Defaming people who are working industriously to contribute to the efforts of the colleges and the district mission is not leadership. It does, however, suggest either self-serving interest of some sort, I can't imagine what though, covering one's own errors, or some other sort of power play. It's not pretty. It should not be tolerated, let alone encouraged by our elected officials or their designees. And I certainly hope that I've been overly pessimistic and that the board does in fact direct our district leadership and our college leadership to support the work of the foundations as well as all the other people who work at the colleges to support college and district mission and goals. Thank you very much. Do I have minutes? Do I have seconds? Have I used them all
Those
up?
came up a
I just want
long
to.
time
I just
ago.
want to completely change gears and invite you again to invite me to talk about my skulls. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So with that, we'll move on to board reports. I guess we're going to start down here with Trustee Whit-Rodell.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see a bigger crowd this evening. On November the 6th, I attended the show of colors at the Veterans Day commemoration, and I want to tell you that was a marvelous event. I think we all have to remember that Veterans Day is a day that we recognize the living veterans. I think a lot of people get mixed up and we talk about what is Memorial Day. But it was, for me, I had never seen the show of colors that way before. It really touched my heart, and next year I hope that you attend one of the ceremonies that we have for Veterans Day. I think you will also be touched. I especially enjoyed Sarah, what was her name? Loera. She was phenomenal. She sang, I even taped it. It was phenomenal. It was from the heart, and it would have brought your spirits right up there. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Trustee Melchker.
The finest attends. Well, first of all, I want to wish happy birthday today to David Lang because today's his birthday. So happy birthday, Dave. and then I think thoroughly embarrassed him. And now the finest events I attended this month was at IVC. I attended a gathering of food at a local pizza restaurant where two of the professors of the Guided Pathway Department put this on to raise funds to support the IVC Food Resource Center and help students with food insecurities. Then I attended the IVC Veterans Innovation Conference put on by Nancy Montgomery, and this was to help other community colleges open vet centers as wonderful as Saddleback College's and IVC's vet centers. And one of the really inspirational things I learned was that the vets will soon have an opportunity to have their transcripts follow them forever. And in these transcripts, it will be the work experience they had, which they can change into some credits for college, their college credits from all the institutions they attend, because many vets travel around. And so they will have in one place online their transcripts to help them attain a post-secondary education degree. I attended the IVC Veterans Day lunch, which Trustee Whit-Rodell mentioned. And I have to say that board member Trustee Dr. Jim Wright brought greetings from the board, and that was totally inspirational. He gave a very inspirational talk about the many, many years he served as a veteran in the Air Force and about his history in the military and his history in academia, which is just really inspirational and interesting. And I'm not going to tell it to you now, but you'll have to ask him about it. I attended the Teacher of the Year ceremony at Disneyland Hotel and was proud to see two of our teachers there get the Teacher of the Year, including my Teacher of the Year, who was IVC's Professor Ben Miss, who I took physiological psychology from, and it was a great class. Attended the Lariat Open House. and the faculty advisors were there to help recruit students to their newspaper, as well as the retired faculty advisor, Mike Reed, who is always there cheering on the program, just really a great guy. And they gave us a tour also of the facilities there and the TV studios where the video journalism program is taught. And I also attended the production at Saddleback College of Peter and the Starcatchers, and it was really excellent. And what the dean of that program of that department was saying is that we should all attend these programs because these are not only wonderful productions, but they're classes for our students in the theater arts program, and it's much better for them to have a full audience than to have nobody sitting there. Thank you.
Trustee Wright.
First of all, I just wanted to thank you for all the remarks that you made, Trustee Milchecker. Thank you. I attended the Veterans Leader Innovation Conference on October the 30th. That was a wonderful event. The event focused on the innovative and creative means of supporting and assisting our veterans within our 114 community college veteran resource centers. Information was shared in areas of mental health and well-being. The focus was on building strength and sharing best practices for our veterans resource centers across the state. IVC has a grant for that, so it was a wonderful event. On Friday, November the 1st, along with 6 trustees, Dr. Stern and Dr. Viscosel, I attended the Orange County Teacher of the Year ceremony to celebrate our Faculty of the Year nominees for Orange County Teacher of the Year at Disneyland Hotel. A wonderful event. I also attended the annual Veterans Day commemoration event at IVC. Again, I was privileged to give a short talk there. I also wanted to indicate that I attended the Lariat Open House on November the 13th, and also I attended the football game on November the 16th, where Saddleback College was playing Riverside City College. Both teams had a record of 9-0 starting the event. Unfortunately, Saddleback lost the game with a score of 56-25. But the good news is that they're going to be playing again this next Saturday up at the College of the Canyons. They're playing the College of the Canyon on this upcoming Saturday at 6 o'clock. And it will be the first round of the CSEA Southern California playoff. I wish them luck.
Trustee Jamal.
So I too attended the Teacher of the Year ceremony, and I want to congratulate Michael Hoggett from Saddleback and Ben Meese from IVC on being nominees. That's quite an honor. I was also at the football game this weekend. I think Saddleback will bounce back. It's a talented team. They faced a tough opponent with a lot of team speed, and I think they're going to do well next weekend. I wanted just to comment a little bit about the public comment on the foundations. Since I've been on the board, making our foundation stronger and better has been one of my top priorities. I've said at this dais publicly recently that my expectation as a board member is that the district administration and the foundations work together to find solutions to challenges, and these are not that difficult challenges in my perspective. The foundations are our connection to the community. What we do with these two foundations is vitally important for the college, for the community, for our students, and I think there is a way to move forward in a positive way. I don't think there's anyone on this board that wants either of the two college foundations to go away. In fact, just the opposite. I think that this board, I know myself, wants the foundations to be stronger, to be better, and so there's huge support, I know, from myself. So if there's any sense that that's not the case, it's not true. And I've personally been very public about it, and I think that going forward, I think we will find right solutions to work between the district and the two colleges that is good for everybody, foundation staff, our other staff, district administrators, managers, faculty, and most importantly, the students. So thank you.
Okay. Just to kind of piggyback on that, I think it's important to kind of know a little bit of the history, that the structure that the foundations have now with the employees that they have. I was on the board when we made the decision to allow them to hire the staff they have. So it's kind of odd to hear that we have, there's a sense that we're not supporting the foundations when all we've done is to try and help them grow. So I will do what we can to clear up that misconception. I did also attend the Teacher of the Year dinner, and I'll just ditto what everyone else has said so far, and will probably continue to say. And add to it, I did attend on October 29th the IVC Gathering for Good. That was a nice event to help raise some funds for their food bank, and they were very successful in doing that. And then on October 30th, the Orange County School Board Association dinner meeting, where we got a nice presentation from the State Board of Education director, and she gave an amazing report on where things are going and the future of education in California across the board, not just K through 12 like we normally get at those meetings. It was all the way through higher ed, so that was refreshing. And that's all I'm going to do for now. I'll have something at the end of the meeting. Trustee Jay.
I too support the foundations. They're the heart of the college. They are everything for the public and for all the people in the county. Our foundation, so we can get together and raise money for the college. I attended the Orange County Teacher of the Year ceremony held on Friday, November the 1st at the Disneyland Hotel. Congratulations to the winners and to the nominees, Benjamin Meese of IVC and Michael Hogat at Saddleback College. I saw Peter and the Starcatcher at the McKinney Theater on November the 2nd and enjoyed the performance. The theater arts department, its staff, and especially the student performers and backstage crew are to be commended for an imaginative and inspiring performance. While there, I noted a situation that posed a risk to people in the area. I brought it to President Stern's attention and was gratified to see it corrected within a very short time. Thank you, President Stern, for your quick response. I also attended the Veterans Day commemoration and luncheon at IVC College in November the 6th. The Veterans Resource Center at IVC and the Veterans Office at Saddleback do a great job at serving our veterans, and we owe them a large debt of gratitude. Every day we appreciate our veterans for the work they do and have done in preserving our freedoms. A huge thank you to all the veterans, both on and off campus. And I just wanted to tell everybody to have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Trustee Lang.
Thank you. I was also one of the trustees that attended the Orange County Teacher of the Year ceremony. It was wonderful. It was great that nearly all the board members were there supporting our two nominees, and it was just a really nice evening. I wanted to extend my appreciation to all our veterans that we honored on November 11th and the great work that our people do here at Irvine Valley College and Saddleback Community College to make our campuses very welcoming for our veteran students. Wanted to give a shout out to Irvine Valley College's women's volleyball team on their outstanding record this year. I also wanted to express similar sentiments to Saddleback College's journalism students who really shined at the JACC Southern California Conference at Cal State Fullerton. I guess that was last month. I want to express the same sentiments that you heard from many of my colleagues on the boards in terms of support for our foundations. That's where I first came into contact through our colleges. Foundations do absolutely outstanding and invaluable work in providing scholarships to our students. We all, I think, want to see the foundations thrive. Finally, I want to extend Thanksgiving wishes to one and all for a safe and fulfilling holiday. Thank you.
Student Trustee Uriarte.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. On November 1st, I have the pleasure to attend the theater performance, Peter and the Starcatcher. I'm not familiar with theater, but I have observed that it takes an amazing amount of time to plan, coordinate all the logistics behind the scenes to just bring up these magnificent performances at McKinney Theater. On November 3rd, I attended, via online, the Student Trustee Caucus meeting. It's a association for student trustees trying to address the main issues or needs of students within their community college districts. This year, the main focus is in food and housing insecurities. I am fortunate to share the efforts that IVC and Saddleback College have done to address the food insecurity issues by having on-site food pantries and distributions of free foods and vegetables to students in need. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Stern also because last week I was proud to read an email in response to an incident about a graffiti with racial intent on campus. It was on time and it was correctly addressed, and it shows the position of the community college district, the college, and the community against these issues. Thank you very much.
Chancellor Burke.
So I'd also like to address the comments by Professor Schmeidler related to the foundation and assure you that I have received no direction from this board other than to be 100% supportive of the foundations, as they are. I believe any issues that have arisen are the result of miscommunication and misunderstanding, and we're working diligently on trying to straighten those out, starting last Friday with a meeting with Alyssa Aransky of the IVC Foundation Board. So we're going to try and straighten all that out because the work that the foundations do is critical on behalf of our students and our colleges. I'd also like to thank the board very much for its resolution last month related to voting centers and let you know that Irvine Valley College has been selected as a vote center facility for the March 2020 elections. They will be open for vote center hours on Saturday the 29th, Sunday, March 1st, Monday, March 2nd, and Tuesday, March 3rd. And then there will be 3 days of bringing them in and 3 days of them wrapping as well and pulling the equipment out. So we're pleased that the registrar has selected us as one of the vote center locations. And then finally, I was also going to talk about the women's volleyball team. I'm not going to jinx Coach Pestalacci by telling you where they're ranked, but I would advise you to keep your eye on the Thanksgiving weekend when they'll start the playoffs, and then the weekend after that when there will be state championships.
Okay. Next, we have college presidents' reports.
Thank you. I do want to thank Chancellor Burke and Vice Chancellor Gable for coming on Friday to meet with myself and Executive Director of the IVC Foundation, Alyssa Aransky. It was a very productive and positive meeting. And I just have a couple of updates. One would be, yes, IVC's women's volleyball is 22-0. And unlike Chancellor Burke, they are ranked #1 in the state. And I have great confidence in Coach Pestalacci and the women's volleyball team. You can see them tomorrow night. They will play Saddleback College here at Saddleback College at 6 o'clock. So come out and support Saddleback and IVC. Thank you, Dan. Also, Irvine Valley's men's basketball team has started out 4-0, so they have a strong start. And the women's basketball team now is 5-0. So athletics at IVC last week and going forward seems very strong. Thank you.
Good evening. On behalf of Saddleback College, we congratulate our sister college on the success of women's volleyball team. We certainly hope that tomorrow night is not the turnover of the century, but one can never predict these things. As for Saddleback,
So
I
can
want
I
to thank...
just, there's got to be a wager between the two of you. I mean, there has to be something. Don't finish your report without some kind of wager.
I believe he will probably be buying me lunch soon.
Oh, no. Something about wearing IBC regalia and vice versa.
I believe it will depend on the spread, Trustee Jamal. That is a joke. There is no spread and no betting.
Okay, no betting. Okay.
I want to congratulate our football team and the athletic program that gives rise to athletes that are so successful on the field and in the classroom. As you know, we finished the regular season at 9-1 after a somewhat crushing defeat on Friday evening. But as you pointed out, we will be at College of the Canyons this Saturday, 6 o'clock. And I invite any of you who feel like making the journey to join me and some of our colleagues in hoping for a strong playoff season, which we think we'll get. I also just want to do a little kudos to our adult education team. Since the written report was submitted, we not only survived but flourished through our WIOA audit. WIOA is Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. It's the federal funds that are channeled through the state for adult education and workforce programs. The spirit of WIOA is to not only have adults succeed in their ESL and other forms of education, but also actually move into workforce programs and transfer programs. And among the various commendations that we received from that audit were the noticeable gains that our students had made in the program, and the fact that our program goes to centers around our campus, not just on campus, to meet the students where they are. But the commendation that made me proudest of all was the commendation for high-touch customer service, something that we hope to create all across campus. And finally, and in the spirit of gratitude and thanks that we hopefully make publicly, if not at our own Thanksgiving tables, I want to thank the 40,000 plus students in this district who entrust us with their learning and in many cases their lives, and also in my case to the 1,400 employees I support who do amazing work every single day of the year. So thank those groups of people. Thank you.
All right. ASG, Saddleback.
I just want to start off by wishing Trustee Lang a happy birthday. I can relate, it's my birthday, so we'll move on from that though. So hello, my name is Jake Ribzik. I am the president of the ASG of Saddleback College. It's an honor to be here. To start off, in the light of Veterans Day being this month, I would just like to personally and on behalf of the student government thank all the veterans for their sacrifice and their service to our country. With that said, this month our ASG participated in a Thank You Vets event where members of our student government, along with veterans, placed flags in the quad. We also were giving out free food to veterans, and we allowed students to come and participate in art piece thanking veterans. We also had an event called Novemberfest where we had games in the quad, we had food in the quad, we were promoting some of the programs that we have in the student government and the honors program as well. We've also been attending a lot of meetings. We've been attending meetings on the new Gateway building, and we've been putting some student input on that, and we're going to continue to try to be as much involved in the process as we can be. We've also been attending meetings, food tastings. So, once more, something that we're very honored to do, though, to be a part of the process in choosing who the next food service will be, and not just Saddleback, but IVC. And looking forward, we're preparing for our elections. We're just approving some bylaws. We're going to be, we hope to be hosting some informational sessions for students before the end of this semester so they can begin to learn about what they can run for, how to run, and what the positions do. We're also going to be tomorrow, in fact, touring a potential rooms to become a personal reflection room. This is something that different groups in our at Saddleback have been pushing us to do, and we're really excited to finally complete that journey and to get a personal reflection room at Saddleback College. With that said, we're kind of winding down this semester. You know, finals are approaching, and I would just like to advertise one thing. We're doing a Thanksgiving food drive with EOPS. So before Wednesday, if you can, come give us some canned food at SSC 210, which is here on campus. We're looking for canned vegetables, boxed pasta mix, turkey gravy, canned fruit. We really want to be supporting our students, so if you can, please do so. Thank you, guys.
Just to interject before you, I don't remember getting invited to a food tasting. Any of you guys get invited to a food? I didn't. All right, just saying.
You're right, absolutely.
Don't look at me.
Hello, my name is Frost Khatib, ASG of IVC's president. I will start off to say the food tasting event was cool. It was a great event. It was, sorry you missed it. But to go on to business for IVC, our student representatives, especially our Senate, have been holding a 2-day event. Today was the first beginning of it, where students go ahead and meet their representatives, voice their concerns, things they would like to address on campus. It's been pretty good turnout. We have surveys in order to hear strategic concerns as well from students and so forth. So that will go on to tomorrow as well. I did also have a meeting with the acting president of IVC, Cindy Viscachil. It was a very great meeting to be having, getting a good foundation set for ASG and the college and to proceed forth to the end of this year. We talked about initiatives such as the OCTA, which the student government holds very dearly, and we think that's super important to be working on throughout this year as well. Lastly, just to switch gears here, the student government had been invited to do a campus tour, I guess you say, of the bookstore and the current condition of the bookstore in particular. We had found out that the bookstore had been having a rat problem in particular. I don't bring this up in particular to share complaints or something like that, but in order to allow the board to understand that the concerns that students have on campus. What we've heard from the bookstore directors and so forth is that they've actually had to throw out food costing up to $1,000 to $2,000. So that was just in 1 week in particular. So that was something that that students, in particular myself and many others represented to voice concerns, had shared and felt that it was necessary to represent to the board and to other representatives of the campus and district as well to address those concerns. So hopefully we will work with other administratives and faculty members and so forth to address these concerns and proceed forth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We don't know what we don't know, right?
That's what we gotta do.
All right. Any more cliches? You got any? All right. We do have a board request for a report. Trustee Jay has requested a report of the various participatory governments groups and how they're appointed to policymaking committees. And we've all been given board policy 2100.1. I imagine there's a little bit more to that from someone.
So in order to begin to address some of what Trustee Jay was looking for in the board agenda, you actually received 4056, the board policy in the administrative regulation that is related to classified employees' participation in decision-making. Also associated with that, and they were at the table today, and I believe there were copies out in the hall, you received 2100.1 and 2100.2, which are the role and scope and authority of the academic senates. In addition to that, Board Policy 5627, which is regarding student participation in governance. You received one page, page 7, from Article 3 of the CSEA rights, and at 3.1.12, it talks about classified bargaining unit members selected for governance committee participation. And then from the Education Code 70901.2, also related to provisions in the law related to classified staff representation. So that was provided as background. And then perhaps Trustee Jay could clarify if there's additional information that she's seeking in addition to this for the report.
No, thank you. Thank you for giving us the extra information that we needed. It did not come out in the board agenda.
Right.
Okay.
We got those today.
All right. Anybody else have any questions or need clarification?
No.
All right. Thank you very much. Oh, did you have a question?
Yeah, I guess just to clarify, a request has been made, I guess, or request is made that normally would be approved by the board, but I guess I'm wondering with the information that's been provided, do we still need to follow through with a formal presentation?
I think that was what the question was, if we need to vote to have staff put together an actual report beyond what information.
Right, so
we
I
have
didn't get,
now.
I wasn't clear on whether.
Right, no, you're right. Normally, we would vote to approve a board request for report. This is the first we saw of it on the agenda.
Right.
So what staff apparently did was prepare information to see if that was sufficient without going forward with a full report. So
Right.
then that's the question to Trustee Jay.
Correct, as to whether we need to vote on having a full report on this matter, or should we consider the information that's been provided to us and then determine if we need a report after that?
Consider the information that's been provided to us. Okay.
So are you gonna come forward with a request for the board report at the next meeting?
Maybe if.
I don't know.
All right,
I haven't had a chance.
okay.
These were just put on the desk here. I haven't had a chance to look over
Okay,
everything.
so yeah, the normal procedure would be, you wouldn't have gotten any of this tonight until we approved for you to get stuff. But I think they were showing you that there's already existing information that may answer your questions.
Right. And
So-
thank you.
So just communicate with the Chancellor,
If you'd like this placed on the agenda again for additional information.
and then we would
beyond
still have to
this, and
vote
they'd
on
still
it
have to vote on it.
to get whatever more information it is you want.
Well, I haven't been able to read that.
Right,
Right,
no, that's what I'm
right.
saying.
So we would bring it back at the December meeting if this is not sufficient.
Okay.
If you wanted additional information.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
Okay, with that, we move on to the discussion item, 4.1, acceptance of the district, Saddleback College Foundation, Irvine Valley College Foundation, and Foundation for South Orange County Community College District Annual Audit Review and Report.
All right, thank you very much for having us here this evening. I'm Renee Graves, a principal with CliftonLarsonAllen, and Saeed Farhan is with me. He's the manager that runs the audit, schedules everything. Can you not hear me? Better?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Do I need to do introductions again, or are we good? Okay, perfect. So we're gonna give a brief summary report on the various reports that you have in front of you. So I'm gonna turn it over to Saeed, and he's gonna start first with the district report.
Okay. So we were engaged to issue an opinion on the financial statements, an opinion on the internal control over financial reporting as required by the governmental auditing standards, a report on the internal control over compliance, and also state compliance. So we have 4 reports, 4 audit letters that are inside the district audit report. So in terms of the timeline, we met with the audit committee on March 25th for our planning meeting, and we went ahead and performed our interim procedures in April and May, focusing really on the internal control testing as well as the compliance piece. Most of the compliance piece was done during that time. And we followed up with our year-end procedures in August, and we issued our report on October 28th after meeting with the audit committee. So we did go over the report in details. We met with the audit committee, went over the details. So what I will do is kind of summarize the report. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I can stop. So Oh, sorry. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Awesome.
We're not used
Sorry.
to
Yeah,
microphones. So.
yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of moving around a little bit. So on Roman numeral 1, we have the management discussion analysis. This is basically a comparative analysis from prior year, where we're just talking about the changes and whatnot that occurred during the year compared. And on page 1 of the report, we have the basic financial statements. As you can see, the net position actually went up by $49 million, primarily due to the increase in taxes, OPEB assets, and grants and contracts revenue. Within the financials on page 5, we have, page 7, we have the Associated Student Government Trust Funds, and the result of the activities during the year resulted in a $200,000 increase in that position. On page 10, we have the changes in the plan.
Hold on just a second. I think there was confusion.
Right, so I think I just wanted to clarify that I think we have moved up item 6.1.
No, the information you need for the presentation they're going over is under
This is in
6.1 when we do the
6.1.
vote on this item. This is the presentation of that information to the board. So
Okay.
this should have been included with the 4.1 document so that we would, maybe both, or anyway.
Actually, 6.1 is for review, not for, as I see it, the action required is review. And so I think their presentation now goes hand in hand with that.
It says acceptance
Accept the district.
of the review, of the audit review and report. We're accepting the audit review
Okay.
and report.
All right,
We're not
I'm looking at
reviewing
that.
it, we're accepting it. But it's, again, it's, the vote comes later as that action item, but this is the information they're going over. So does everyone know where they're looking now? Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, no, you're good.
You were reading from pages nobody knew where you were.
Yeah, I know. I realized that too.
So you were
maybe
talking
what I
about
can do
page
is kind
7
of
from 104, correct?
what's that?
You were talking about page 7 from 104?
Yes.
Is that?
100 and actually it's page. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Right, in Exhibit A.
Page 26 of Exhibit A. 26
Page
of
26 of 104?
The top right-hand corner.
Okay.
Where are we?
Okay, sorry.
Oh, that page 7. This is where Page 26.
So just to make sure, so on the upper right, it says page 26 of 104. On the bottom, it says page 7. So that we all know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So
is down,
on the
down.
statement of, as it relates to the retiree benefit trust or the OPEB trust, the net position actually went up by $6.5 million. So overall, the net position for all the financials that are, or all the reporting units increased during the year, so which is a good thing. So moving on, the summary of auditor's result. So we did not identify, so we're issuing an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, so which is a clean opinion. We did not identify any internal control issues or significant deficiencies or non-compliance with the financials. However, with the federal awards, we tested student financial aid and the R&D cluster. We did identify 3 instances of non-compliance that are significant deficiencies as well. And however, our report, our opinion on the federal programs are unmodified. So, yeah. And going over, did you all get a chance to review the findings, or do you want me to go over them in details?
Well, 3 of us have gone over it.
Okay, great. So for finding, so the first finding is basically the reconciliation of direct loans that were not performed on a timely basis, and which was
Page?
95 of 104.
It's actually page 95.
95 of 104.
Or 95.
95 of 104 in the upper right-hand corner
But it's not in
of
there.
Exhibit A.
It's under 6.1. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's finding number 1.
I read it, I just didn't know where he was.
And after that, we have finding 2, which is on page 79 at the bottom. 96.
So 98 of 104.
And this is relating to the return of title notifications sent to students who've earned funds but withdrew from school from the courses during the year. And on page 81 at the bottom, we have finding number 3, and this is the required status changes of students who drops from full-time to part-time or withdraws from the school. So we discussed the findings with the audit committee as well as management, and we're confident that these findings will be resolved. Corrective action is taking place, and these will be resolved next year. Awesome. And then the status of the prior year findings, for finding one of the findings that we reported last year, it was partially resolved in Saddleback. We did note a similar finding at IVC, and we had another. There were basically 2 findings last year. The other one was completely resolved.
Okay.
So now I'll hand over to Renee to go over the foundation reports.
All right, so I will try to do this without referencing page numbers and just give you an overview. And if there's anything specific you have questions on, please just let us know. So you should have the 3 foundation reports in front of you. I'll mention first the district foundation report. On that one, we are performing a review engagement on those financial statements rather than an audit. And it's because the activity is so minor within that foundation that it's not worth extra fees to go through an audit. So there's not an opinion that we're rendering, so to speak. We're not saying that the financial statements are fairly stated, but what the assurance level is we're saying that the financial statements that management has prepared, we don't see anything that's missing from those financial statements and that would cause them to be not in compliance with GAAP. So in a sense, it is a clean opinion. And the activity was very small. I think there are expenditures of about $2,400 in there, and I think their ending cash balance is around $10,000. For IVC and Saddleback, I'm going to talk about them and make basically the same comment for both. So there's a couple of specific things I'll point out to each one. So the comments that are similar or the same for both are, we are doing an audit for both of the foundations. The opinion is a clean or an unmodified opinion, which means that they are following the appropriate accounting policies. And the foundations, as a not-for-profit organization, do have different accounting policies than the district. The district is governed by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, where the foundations are overseen by the Financial Accounting Standards Board. So the accounting policies are a little bit different that they need to follow, as well as the reporting. Both foundations had to implement a new accounting standard this year. So a lot of times I struggle with the new accounting standards because when you read the statement itself, they always say they're making this change to make the financial statements easier for readers to read and understand the financial statements. I don't think that's ever true. I think they just make them more complex. But this is one that I would have to say I actually agree. I think it does make the financial statements more user-friendly. In the past, there was a designation between donations that were either temporarily restricted or permanently restricted. And unless you lived in the accounting world, it was really hard to understand what what the differences were between permanently and temporarily restricted net assets. So this new standard eliminates that wording and just says it either has donor restrictions or it does not have donor restrictions. So I think this was a positive change. So if you're used to seeing 3 columns of information, you'll only see 2 columns of information now. And for both of the entities, their net assets increased. Both gave roughly 350,000, 325,000 payments and scholarships. So you were mentioning that earlier in some of your opening comments about the support that the foundations give to each of their respective campuses. And so they are continuing to support the campuses by giving scholarships to each of those individuals. As a result of the new accounting standard, there's also a new footnote that is included in the financial statements. So there's a footnote. It has to deal with liquidity and availability of funds. So again, it's letting readers know how they're doing their investing, how they're doing their cash flows to make sure that they will be able to continue operating and making payments for at least the next 12 months. And so that footnote, again, I think is a very informative footnote to the users of the financial statements. So that is the essence of what's in the audit report. I do want to mention that we did share with each of the foundations our suggestion that they look at the master agreement and revise that document. So it looks like each of them, it was somewhere around 2005 is the last time that the master agreement was written and signed and agreed to. And it's just always a good idea to look at things more regularly and update them for current operations and the current needs of both the district and the foundation. It is a requirement in the California Code of Regulations that there is a master agreement as well as with the Education Code. And just recently, it's been maybe a year now, the Chancellor's Office issued an updated auxiliary manual. That also was very outdated. I don't think that had been updated in I want to say 15 to 20 years. And in there, it also talks about the need to have a master agreement. So we did make that suggestion to each of the foundations as well. So if there's any questions related to any of the individual foundation audit reports. All right, well, thank you very much. And we would like to extend our thanks to the audit committee and to the staff. We work with a lot of individuals. You have a number of your district office staff here today, and we appreciate their help. The audit is not necessarily a fun process to go through. We ask for a lot of questions, a lot of documentation, and it goes on for months. As Saeed had mentioned, we start in the March period and we're going up until October and asking for a lot of information, and everyone's always very responsive, and we're out at financial aid offices, we're out at the student government offices, and a lot of people get involved. Admissions and records get involved in the process, so we definitely appreciate everyone's help to make the audit go as smoothly as it does. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. So with that, we'll move on to consent calendar. Do I have any polls?
5.1.
5.1.
Just a small correction.
Anybody else? All right, so I'll entertain a motion for the balance of the consent calendar. Motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Jamal. Go ahead and vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. Next, we'll look at 5.1.
In 5.1 on page 3, there are just a couple of corrections. One is item number 16 there. It's the Dean of Economic and Workforce Development. The "and" is not there. Just a very correction. And then number 19, it's the Dean of Liberal Arts, not Language Arts.
Good catch.
Good catch, yeah.
They didn't change it. Anything else? Trustee, right?
No, that's it.
All right.
Eagle eye.
So with that, we have a motion from Trustee Lang, a second from Trustee Jamal for item 5.1 with changes. Go ahead and vote on the item. We have a unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. Moving on then to 6.1, which is the approval or the acceptance of the audit report that we were just presented. A motion from Trustee Lang, a second from Trustee Jay. Assuming that most people had their opportunity to ask questions before, and seeing no requests to speak, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. A unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. 6.2, renewal of agreement for independent auditing services. I have a motion from Trustee Whit-Riddell and a second from Trustee Wright. Speaking on my role in the audit report, I would say they've done a pretty good job. They caught some things that the previous groups had not. I guess at this time I'd entertain any comments from Trustee Lang or Trustee Wright from their experience with them.
Yep.
Okay.
I just thought that the fact that they found those 3 findings was good.
Okay. So with that, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. A unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. 6.3, master agreement for IT consultant services for student information systems, Neudesic. I have a motion from,
There's several of them, not just Neudesic.
oh yeah,
3 of them.
Neudesic, Experis, LLC, and Xelleration. Okay. I have a motion from Trustee Whit-Riddell and second from Trustee Jay. Seeing no request to speak, we'll go and vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. 6.4, Advanced Technology and Education Park Phase 1 Campus Site Signage Project. I have a motion from Trustee Milchker, a second from Trustee Wright. There were some questions about this. I believe were answered, but we still have some. Trustee Lang?
Yes, I think the only thing that concerned me a little bit was the substantial difference in prices that we got and whether that should give us any cause for concern, I guess, in terms of the bids that came in.
Yeah, we got the low bid.
So I would ask Vice Chancellor Gable to address that.
We had the same concerns, and so we brought the low bidder in and met with them to make sure that they fully understood the scope of the project, and they did, and so that's why we're recommending that we move forward with this award.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Whit-Riddell?
I believe all of us saw what the signage is going to look like.
That went to everybody.
Okay. What do we do if we don't like it?
There were so many options.
Vote against it.
Thanks, David.
It was,
I don't like it.
Well, tell us why.
That's some serious money.
This is how this works. This is where you tell us why we should
I'm
vote
not
no.
an artist, okay? Did you want me to doodle something? But what was drawn, I'm sorry. If it has to be big, I really want to see it. There are too many. We're paying for a lot of space inside the artist rendering. You liked it? Okay. Let's go at it. Yeah, but let's say you're just driving by or whatever.
Okay, let's stick
okay.
with parliamentary procedure.
Okay.
Trustee Witt, you have the floor. If Trustee Wright, you would like to comment, you weigh in. Okay, Trustee Wright.
I sort of liked it. It was just these four pillars sitting up there, and they had advanced technology, applied science. I kind of liked it. It's different.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
Do we have a picture that we can show?
We don't get to vote.
You do, great. Oh. Way to go, Vice Chancellor.
Hold it up again.
Yeah, we don't have a doc camera, do we?
You
Or is there a document camera over there? Is that what's over on the left?
Be nice to show it.
No? And go.
We don't have one of Trustee Witt's doodles to compare it with, do we?
I mean, I guess the only question I would have, and anyone can answer this, and maybe Trustee Whit-Riddell, you can expand on what it is your concern is. Is it you want more information displayed on the sign besides just what it is?
Well, maybe I'd like some clarification. I did send emails to the Chancellor, and thank you very much for responding so quickly. I just thought $1.870 million was a lot for signage. Now, I'm not a signage expert, but 1.9 million is a boat of money. And then when I saw the signs, I just thought it was a lot of money for what we got. So is it different? Yes, but you have to look sideways. And I don't know. Can we think about it a little bit longer, or do we have to give a...
Look sideways? How do you have to look sideways?
Well, the letters are sideways.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. They're up and down.
Well, I had three different versions.
Why don't you pass that along the board so we all can take a
No,
look
I'll
at
show
it?
you here.
Okay.
You don't have to look sideways.
I don't remember getting, who sent this email? Why don't I have it in here? I don't have it in here. I'm sure. Was that
Remember when they were giving us the tour? They said, big signs are gonna go here and little signs are gonna go.
So this is sideways or it's not sideways?
That's the main.
No. Is this the email we got?
I don't want to hold up the meeting.
Okay.
There was a map too.
Yeah. Here, do you want us to take a look or should I pass it down? Okay, I'm passing this down, okay?
Yeah, I see.
Study session, and then we sent it to you, because we pulled those out of a study
Here.
session. PowerPoint,
Tim?
and we sent them.
Oh, here's the ones that are sideways.
Yeah, I like those.
That's been changed.
Okay, well, that's good.
All right. So which one is there?
This? These two.
But they said they're not gonna be sideways anymore.
This one.
And you said, I think.
Which entrance?
I'm sorry.
So the map had the locations marked, so you just had to match the signs with the map. Is that- right.
Here's the type of sign that's going in each spot.
I see, I couldn't pull my attachments just now. I see.
Well, let me just, why didn't I get the email?
Yeah, so I got it. It says M4. Okay. It's off of Valencia. All right, this is probably productive right now.
Yeah, I think Vanna White should come visit us down here. Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee, Vice Chancellor Gable, pardon me.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Could I ask a question? I believe that when we were at ATEP, they showed us kind of where the signs were going to be. And they also said that they would be lit up like the signs are kind of at LAX. Is that true? In different LED lights so that they could be different colors?
The email has all the different details, like examples from other schools. It was on
Was it last week?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It was
Okay,
Tuesday,
thank you.
so it's been less than a
Okay,
week.
thank you.
Okay, here,
Yeah.
here's this.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, I finally pulled it up.
Oh, okay, you got the same.
I mean, I guess technically it would have been good with the item to have that there, because
Because I read the agenda. It wasn't in the agenda item.
no, it was a separate
Correct,
email.
it was a separate email to all of you.
Yeah. Okay.
So with that, do people still like it?
Well, the way, as I mentioned, the way it was described when I was at ATEP was that it was going to be illuminated with those colored LED lights, so they could be different colors like they have at, I think at LAX Airport and at.
That's still in the description.
Yeah. Okay. So that might be interesting and get people's attention. I mean, I
Advanced technology.
and I actually agree that the coming down would be better than sideways, as Trustee Waddell mentioned, that
Which
she
apparently
doesn't
has
like
been
the
changed.
sideways, so that's been changed. So that's a good thing.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this item before we vote? All right, let's go ahead and vote on it.
It is expensive, though. You remember?
We have 6 trustee yes vote, 1 trustee no, and a student advisory yes vote. 6.5. Saddleback College Subaward Agreement from University of California, Irvine. A motion from trustee Lang, a second from trustee Jay. Seeing no request to speak, we'll vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote and 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.6, board policy revisions for review and study. Motion from trustee Jay, second from trustee Wright. A request to speak from trustee Lang.
Yes, I think the only item that I noticed was in, let's see, Exhibit E, 6125, second to last paragraph, spelling of chaperones. I think there's an E on the end of that.
Eagle eyes tonight.
Although my French is not great.
Anyone else? All right. We'll
For
go.
review and study, so.
It's for review and study, so we're just approving it for that. Review and study and spell check. We'll go ahead and vote on the item.
Well, because it wasn't changed, it was part of the original.
Unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. 6.7, accepting or approving board policies as listed. I have a motion from trustee Whit-Rydell and a second from trustee Jay. A request to speak from trustee Lang.
Yeah, so couple of things which I probably didn't notice the first time around. Indicates that allocations must be used within 5 years on the specific project. And I was just curious as to what projects that, for example, are shown in 7.6 would be affected by what I think is a change in the policy with that language.
The spending in 5 years?
Yes.
That is not a change in policy. That's the current policy.
It is, okay.
And what we do is we work with the colleges. If they're up against the 5 years, typically the fund should revert, but if they do have a plan to spend it, then we'll take that back to DRAC and ask for an extension of the time. So it doesn't automatically revert. There is kind of a process that we follow if they haven't spent it all.
Okay, thank you, because it seems to me that some projects are going to naturally take longer. And I know that hasn't come back to the board in the past, but I guess the proper process that it is that it goes back to DRAC.
It goes to BARC.
Or BARC.
So it'll be KIC, DTC, and BARC are the three committees that it goes through. So it would be I'm sorry. So the Capital Improvement Committee, if it's related to facilities, it would come through the Capital Improvement Committee, and the request would be to extend the time. If it's a technology item, it goes through the District Technology Committee, and then both of those committees recommend to the Basic Aid Allocation Recommendation Committee, so that's what we call BARC, for those.
Right, okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Trustee Jamal.
So I actually had a question for Trustee Lang, because you raised a good question, I think, at the last board meeting about I think it was you, on the board policy on basic aid funds, because we had reviewed it at the board policy subcommittee, and it looks like, I assume you added that highlighted language in there based on our discussion at the last board meeting? Is that correct? Okay. Does that
Yes,
good
that
adding that?
satisfies my concern, I'm
Okay.
sure.
All right.
Okay, seeing no further requests to speak, we'll vote on the item. Most of us will vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. Moving on to 6.8, initial proposal to CSEA. We have a motion from trustee Whit-Rydell and second from trustee Wright.
1 second, this is approval. Okay, so I do have.
Trustee Lang.
So you think I was nitpicking before, you're gonna love this one.
I never think you're nitpicking. I think it's awesome we have a wordsmith on the board.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so look at Exhibit C, 4,500. No, it would be the second to last paragraph on the first page, on page 1 of 2. After, in the
Wait,
middle.
are you still on the board policies?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, we just voted on that.
Oh, sorry, okay, well, then I
I
blew it.
You can give it to me.
Yeah, just,
Okay.
well, is it, if it's wordsmithing, we should have it fixed. Okay, we fixed a period. All right, we're good.
Okay, we're good now.
Yeah, never would, no, okay. So now we're on 6.8, CSEA. And trustee Lang does not have a question. Does anybody else have a question?
I don't.
I guess we'll vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote, student advisory yes vote. Next is 6.9, district initial proposal to POA. Motion from trustee Wright, second from trustee Jamal. Seeing no request to speak, we'll vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. 6.10, academic employee and classified administrator personnel actions. nice to, Acting President Viscachill passing this off to Kim Wittes to make me read. She knows how much fun I have doing this. Sit back, relax. There's a lot. Number 1, position, Dean of Online Education Learning Resources. Employee name, Marina Amini. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range, step 22 and 8. Annual salary, $218,820. Monthly allowances, transportation, $250. Cell phone, $165. Number 2, Dean of Liberal Arts. Employee name, Brooke Bui. Contract dates, July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step, 22 and 5. Annual salary, $189,036. Transportation, $250. Cell phone, $165. Number 3, Dean of Counseling Services. Employee name, Elizabeth Cyprus. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step, 22 and 8. Annual salary, $218,820. Monthly allowances, transportation $250, cell phone $165. Number 4, Executive Dean of Extended Learning. Employee name, Karima Feldis. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Range and step 23 and 8. Annual salary $229,788. Transportation $360, cell phone $165. Number 5, Vice President for Student Services. Employee name, Linda Fontanella. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Range and step, 25 and 8. Annual salary, $253,320. Transportation, $475. Cell phone, $165. Dean of Student Equity and Special Programs. Employee name, Georgina Guy. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step, 22 and 8. Annual salary, $218,820. Transportation $250, cell phone $165. Number 7, Dean of Wellness, Social Services and Child Development Center. Employee name, Jean Harris Caldwell. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step, 22 and 8. Salary, $218,820. Transportation $250, cell phone $165. District Director of Research Planning and Data Management. Employee name, Denise Inseong. Contract date, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step, 19 and 8. Annual salary, $189,036. Transportation, $125. Cell phone, $165. Number 9, Dean of Economic and Workforce Development and Business Services. Employee name, John Jaramillo. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step, 22 and 8. Salary, $218,820. Transportation, $250. Cell phone, $165. For sake of, oh no, that I can't do it. Never mind. Number 10, Director of Research Planning and Accreditation. Employee name, Jennifer Klein. Contract date, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and set, 19 and 6. Annual salary, $171,444. Transportation, $125. Cell phone, $165. Number 11, position, Assistant Dean of Financial Aid and Student Services Support Services. Employee name, Ken Lira. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Range step, 20 and 7. Annual salary, $189,036. Transportation, $125. Cell phone, $165. Number 12, Vice President. If I can't watch the game, none of you guys can either. Number 12, Vice President for Instruction. Employee name, Chris McDonald. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step, 25 and 8. Annual salary, $253,320. Transportation, $475. Cell phone, $165. Number 13, Assistant Dean of Health, Wellness, and Veteran Services. Employee name, Nancy Montgomery. A contract date, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range step, 20 and 8. Annual salary, $198,468. Transportation, $125. Cell phone, $165. Number 14, Dean of Mathematics, Science, and Engineering. Employee name, Akira Anita. Contract dates, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step, 22 and 6. Annual salary, $198,468. Transportation, $250. Cell phone, $165. Number 15, Dean of Liberal Arts, Kevin O'Connor. July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step, 22 and 8. Annual salary, $218,820. Transportation, $250. Cell phone, $165. Number 16, Dean of Health Services and Human Services, Diane Pestalacci. Contract dates, July 20th through June 30th, 2022. Range and step 22 and 8, salary 218, 820, transportation 250, cell phone 165. Number 17, Dean of the Arts, or for the Arts, Library and Online Education, Joseph Poshek, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step 22 and 8, salary 218, 820, transportation 250, cell phone 165. Number 18, Assistant Dean of Division Director of Emeritus Institute, Danielle Parental, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step 20 and 5, salary 171,444, transportation 125, cell phone 165. Number 19, position Dean Enrollment Services, employee name Corey Rogers, contract July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step 22 and 6, salary 198,468, transportation 250, cell phone 165. 20, Dean of Counseling Services, Penelope Scaff, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step 22 and 6, salary 198,468, transportation 250, cell phone 165. Dean of Advanced Technology and Applied Science, Anthony Tang, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step 22 and 8, salary 218, 820, transportation 250, cell phone 165. 22, Vice President for Instruction, Trambo Kumamoto, contract dates July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Range and step 25 and 6, annual salary 229,788, transportation 475, cell phone 165. And finally, number 23, Dean of Mathematics, Science, and Engineering, employee name Leon Zhao, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. Range and step 22 and 8, salary 218, 820, transportation 250, cell phone 165.
You're not done yet. There's one
Oh,
more.
I'm done.
Oh, would you like? I'll read this one then.
Thank you.
Dr. Cindy Viscachel, Acting President of Irvine Valley College. Dates of employment October 24th, 2019 through June 30th of 2020. It's range 27, step 8, 259, 344 per year, 625 for personal auto, 165 for cellular.
Trustee Lang.
Yes, I had a question about the items shown in, let's see, it would have been C, that had to do with ZTC conversion, and wondering how that is different from the Canvas conversion stipend.
Zero textbook cost. So they would be looking at materials that are available at no cost to our students. So it's really very different than online. So and they can be used in a classroom as well as online. So you're making sure that the students can get degrees with no textbook cost or take classes with no textbook cost. So it's actually quite a lot of work to go out and find those materials that are not copyrighted and use them, put them together for students to access, to use in the classroom in lieu of a very expensive textbook.
Okay, I'm going to think about that a little bit.
This is not Canvas conversion.
Yeah, it's not Canvas conversion at all.
Yeah, it's a
No, it's not Canvas conversion, but my issue with Canvas conversion wasn't Canvas conversion per se, but rather whether that is really a faculty responsibility.
This would definitely be, because the faculty have control over textbook selection. You really need a discipline expert to look at the textbook and determine that it's appropriate. So that's not something that, and one of the things about ZTC that works well is if a textbook is used in multiple classes and somebody comes up with the ZTC for the course, multiple faculty members can choose to adopt that for their class, and the benefit goes directly to the students because you don't have the textbook cost.
Okay. Is this something that is basically going to be a requirement for all faculty or not?
No, it's something that they can elect to do. There's a statewide push toward doing this. There are some groups that are doing it on a broader capacity in some cases, but it's really it has to be faculty driven. don't know if the faculty want to add to that.
Thank you. June and I were just looking at each other, that also this money comes from a grant from the state of California trying to incentivize the process because it is a lot of work for I've converted one of my classes, and normally it's reviewing textbooks at a conference, part of your normal duty. Something like this, it involves bringing together multiple sources of information, putting into one site that's available to the students. Yes, it's part of our...
Is this just a pass-through of grant funds from what we receive to the faculty that are choosing to do this?
I believe so. Tram, can you speak to this? That it is, because I was one of the ones who got the grant, and it came from the state. I don't know how the process works, but I know it wasn't from the general funds of the college.
Okay, that would certainly influence my decision, my thinking about this.
Good evening. Yes, the funds are actually through a state project to try and increase the amount of courses that we have provided, course materials that we provide to students at no cost. And so part of the initiative is actually with our system as well as the CSUs. And the funds were provided to us to then support faculty as they go through the process to identify alternative materials so that we can use in the classroom. It's a big statewide effort to try and zero out the costs for textbooks.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Whitright.
Trustee Lang, being faculty for so many years, I have to say that this is incredible that faculty want to do this, and what you're doing is not saving the cost for $280 for a med-surg book, but you're saving $280 for the entire class. Multiply that times 60 or 50, and that's repeated every semester. So yes, the references I'm sure will be updated, but this is their textbook. This is the textbook from the world. I mean, that's what the internet was created for, and it's basically getting opinions. In the textbook, you can only have so many words. Here, you learn what you have to learn from the references, but then you have links that carry you even further. And I'm certain that with those links, I bet you a lot of disciplines, meaning a student nurse at this point in time, I'll give that for an example, may not know what she wants or he wants to do, but I guarantee you with the links of the world here, they might find already in their third, fourth semester what they want to do when they finish. So every textbook has to have certain content, and so will these links. But there's more.
Yeah, if I may, my issue is really where does professional responsibility leave off, and our willingness to pay additional amounts out of the taxpayers' funds for essentially faculty discharging their professional duties. And that was my issue on the Canvas conversion. Now I think I can distinguish between this effort and that, but it's a close call in my mind, quite frankly.
I think you can go further, Trustee Lang, by thinking not every faculty is going to do this. And those that choose to do this also have making a difference for students' pocketbooks and maybe even the content that they see. All right.
And isn't that something that faculty should want to do from a professional standpoint?
Yes.
I guess I would ask faculty, if there were not a grant associated with this that provides funds for people to convert, would it be considered then, would people do it anyway? But because there's a grant and we have to use the grant money, that's what the grant money's for, is it not?
If I could go first, so I teach business law, and I've co-authored a business law textbook, and I was paid to do that. Not a lot,
I'm sure.
but to gather free resources that are of the quality that would match what current business law textbooks require and what the course outline of record requires. It takes a lot of time. And I know you heard that about the Canvas conversion, but this is a very different beast. It is really going through mountains of information that's on the internet and then judging whether it's adequate and whether you're going to even meet your learning objectives by having the student read it. And it's a tremendous amount of work. And this is funded by the state, right? So South Orange County Community College is not putting anything out for it.
Right, that's an influencing factor in my view, no doubt about it.
To answer President Prendergrass's question directly, would I have done it if I didn't get the grant? No. I had a textbook that was working. It was costing the students money, but I found alternatives to do it at a lower cost. But I had something that worked that I'd been using for years, going with the textbook updates that had come from the publisher. So your question was direct. Would I have done it without the grant? The answer is no.
Thank you. Dr. Stern?
If I can just provide some data for the conversation, albeit somewhat anecdotal. At my previous institution, we were struggling with a large open educational resource initiative, which is what we refer to ZTC nationally as, and we had hit 5% courses offered with zero textbook costs. At my current institution, I'm very proud to say that with this incentive, we're approaching 15% course sections offered with ZTC. So I think incentives work.
And just, it's a little bit different, but at the K through 12 level, textbook adoption is a beast. There's people that spend a lot of time and money to go, and the publishers are all going to tell you theirs is the greatest. So if, as a teacher, when you're asked to pilot, they actually do give us a stipend for that because we're helping the district solve a problem. What's the best book for our students? So it's a little different, but in the same sense, it is not part of my professional responsibility to find a textbook for my kids. That's the district's job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're literally compiling a textbook.
We're just helping them.
From a variety of sources.
I don't know totally about that last point.
It's not my job to find textbook for my class.
If you put it,
I can't.
If you phrase it like that,
I can't on my own.
Not in K-12.
I mean, I can have other resources that I bring in to augment and supplement the tape, but I can't say I'm going to use this textbook while you guys use everybody else uses something different. It's got to be approved by the district.
No, I understand that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? See, now we'll go and vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. 6.11, faculty conversion to Canvas, one-time stipend.
There's only 2 on each page.
Okay. Motion from trustee Milchker, second from trustee Jay. Trustee Jamal.
So when you say there's only 2 on the next page? 2 on each page. So what does that portend in the future?
Mike.
It's open until June 30th of 2020, so they need to get things in. So it's slowed down hugely. My assumption is it's going to keep going, but I hate to assume because they're still 6 months.
Do we have a sense of how many people still are out there? Like, has anybody said, hey, we had a projection of this number doing it and this many have done it so far?
No.
Could we maybe have that by the next meeting?
We can try and have that by the next meeting.
I'm not sure we can calculate that. The vast majority have already turned in their requests and been paid. There would be very few outstanding because now it's over a year and a half.
Correct.
But there's no way for us to know who out there still is eligible and who would be submitting a request.
Okay. Yeah. I just figured if at the beginning when all this started, there was an estimate of how many people were going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, we know how many people have done it.
And I believe we're substantially below.
I think it was $3 million,
Yeah.
if I recall, and I wasn't here then. I mean,
Nor-
you're at 1.6.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Doesn't help that much.
No, but you asked for the numbers.
All right. With that, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. Six trustee yes vote, one trustee no, student advisory yes vote. 6.12, classified personnel actions. Any changes?
No changes.
Thank you. Motion from trustee Wright, second from trustee Whit-Rydell. Seeing no request to speak, we'll vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote, student advisory yes vote. 6.13, non-bargaining unit personnel actions. Any changes?
No changes.
Motion from trustee Wright, second from trustee Jamal. Seeing no request to speak, vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote, student advisory yes vote. 6.14, adjustment to the Faculty Association salary schedule. Motion from trustee Jamal, second from trustee Wright. Trustee Lang.
So I just had a quick question about Exhibit B, page 1 of 1. And I just want to make certain that that the math is making sense to me here. So I'm looking at the cumulative cost figures for the new COLA. And so the cumulative cost numbers that are shown in 2018, 2019 for the, I guess the first year, the 3.579799. Vice Chancellor Gable, you see that? Okay, and then I'm looking at 2019-20, and that figure that you've got, does or doesn't include the cumulative cost from 2018-2019.
And so are you looking at the increased annual cost
Yeah, so it
box
goes
or the
from-
cumulative cost
Yeah,
box?
so it's going from 3.580 roughly to 10.25 or 249.
Right, so that 10.25 is the cumulative cost of what was given in 1819 as well as what was given in 1920. And so the 1819 amounts are basically in there twice, plus the 1920. Because when you're doing cumulative cost, you have the first year's cost, and then the second year, it's the first year's cost plus the second year's cost.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I looked at that, it just didn't look correct to me. In terms of those cumulative numbers, it looked like there was, well, okay. I guess I'll take that up with you separately. I was having some problems following your numbers.
Yeah, it works. So on the salary line item, the 2,996,000, if you had 2,996,000 plus 2,996,000 plus the 1920 amount of 2,550,000, that equals the 1920 accumulative cost of 8,542,000.
Okay. Okay, and I guess what I was looking at is if it took the total from 2018, 2019, then added the salary increase from 1920, I would then have to add the 2018-2019 number to that to get to the 10 million.
Correct.
And that is correct. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no further requests to speak, we'll go and vote on the item. Unanimous trustee yes vote, 1 student advisory yes vote. Moving on to 7.0 reports. 7.1 Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College speakers. 7.2 staff response to public comments. There were none. 7.3 facilities plan status report. 7.4 monthly financial status report. 7.5 quarterly investment report. 7.6 basic aid report. 7.7 retiree OPEB trust fund report. 7.8 pension stabilization trust fund report. 8.0 Saddleback College Academic Senate.
It's like I've never done this before. Saddleback College Senate leadership recently attended the statewide meeting of the Academic Senate 2 weeks ago. Saddleback College is well represented at the state level with faculty in positions on the AGETSI Standards Subcommittee, the CSU GE Task Force, the Open Education Resource Initiative, the CID Initiative, and a few other initials that I can't think of offhand. There was nothing new and surprising coming out at the meeting. There was support for the baccalaureate degree expansion into more community colleges, which could affect Saddleback College in a positive way. But the displeasure with Chancellor Eloy Ortiz Oakley and Calbright, the fully only online college, were readily apparent. As it relates to Calbright, the Academic Senate passed a resolution on Calbright that our own Saddleback College Academic Senate will be endorsing on Wednesday. Let me read the resolution. It is brief. The Academic Senate for California Community Colleges opposes the placement of a Calbright Center within the boundaries of any district service area, and the Academic Senate for California Community Colleges opposes Calbright teaching courses that are currently taught, regardless of modality, format, and scheduling within the California Community Colleges. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Okay, Faculty Association.
Thank you. In the spirit of the season, I want to thank the district, their negotiating team, and the board and the Faculty Association's negotiating team for coming to an agreement regarding the reopener on the salary compensation for full and part-time faculty, and on extending the health insurance coverage stipends for qualifying part-time faculty. This is really going to help defray some of the costs for their comprehensive health insurance. I want to thank Chancellor Burke and Acting IVC President Dr. Viscacho for hosting 2 town hall meetings regarding important changes at IVC, most notably the opportunity to participate in the entire process of hiring a new college president. They were gracious and honest and open and receptive and responsive to the questions and concerns of the faculty, the staff, and all who were present. The faculty are deeply invested in the entire process and optimistic about our shared work in recommending for hire the best college president we can find. Finally, I want to thank each one of the board members for the reports that you give each meeting about the events that you attended and the contributions you made while being there, from athletics and the arts to sciences and humanities to celebrating outstanding teachers to gathering for good to help community causes. It goes noticed and appreciated. One event that you might have attended, and I may or may not have heard, but one that I attended that's close to me, is the annual IVC Saddleback IVC Student Research Symposium. And that's where our outstanding students and their faculty mentors gather to watch our students present their original research and findings and to be recognized for their outstanding abstracts and their poster presentations. That wouldn't happen without the tremendous dedication and energy and talents of the two honors program directors, Alana Rosenberg here at Saddleback, and Dr. Kay Riles at IVC, also a former Teacher of the Year. So for all of you, thank you for attending each of these events that you do. It means a lot to me and to the faculty. Thanks.
Okay. IVC Academic Senate.
I will just echo Senate's thanks to Dr. Burke and Dr. Viscachil for the open forums which were held at IVC. They were well attended. There was a lot of optimism, inquiry into who gets appointed to the hiring committee, lots of discussion, lots of sharing and of all the information that the hiring committee is going to be looking at in terms of desired qualifications for a president. So we're all abuzz with that and doing well. Thank you.
Vice Chancellor, Technology and Learning Services.
Our managed services providers, the largest source of consultants. The last time we had an RFP, we had one firm. I'd like to thank Vice Chancellor Gable as well as Priya Jerome and Nick Newkirk because we just completed another RFP. We have 3 that we can choose from, and they got us better pricing. So thank you.
Okay. Human Resources.
No report.
Vice Chancellor, Business Services.
So as the board heard tonight, we have been going through a very extensive process for our new food services vendor. I would like to apologize that the board did not get invited to the food tastings, but we did hold 3 food tastings for the various vendors, and we plan on bringing that contract forward to the board in January for approval.
With samples.
Just because I knew how much I was going to eat doesn't make it my fault you weren't invited.
It's all your fault.
Where are we at? IVC Classified Senate.
Yes. Just wanted to also thank Chancellor Burke and Acting President Cindy Viscachil for holding those town halls for us and including us in the participation of our new college president. Thank you to the Board of Trustees for your continued support of the classified staff and classified Senate at IVC. I would like to thank all of our classified staff at IVC for their continuing participation on shared governance this year. And also wanted to note about Caring Campus. We had our second coaching session with the Institute of Effective-Based Change. We'll have a third coaching session with them in January. And in October, we met with Franklin Covey. They did a training for us on leading at the speed of trust. And what we've learned from that, plus all of that's part of the contract, we will continue to do professional development on that in the next year.
Okay. I guess we'll go to Saddleback Classified Senate.
I'm here for Darren England. I'm Jacqueline Zimbalist, and I have no report at this time.
Okay. CSEA.
I would like, first of all, to thank Dr. Elliott Stern and Dr. Viscachil for reaching out and wanting to increase the dialogue with CSEA. We have very good dialogue now, but now that we're going to be meeting even more, I know that we're going to have good conversations and good productive meetings. I also want to compliment Dr. Elliott Stern for his response on the defacing, racial defacing of our LRC. The reason why I exist is because people who came before me fell in love with each other and they didn't see color. And I have plenty of color in me and across the board. Any racial epithet that would be anywhere would probably affect someone in my family. So I do appreciate his response that really conveyed the thought that all blood runs red, and I appreciate that. I also want to thank Dr. Viscachil for really opening up dialogue, because the one thing that I do know through CSEA is that she comes to us where she wants to be fair. She also wants to uphold the law, and she does it so that she still defends the district, but she is fair to the classified. And so in dialogues with her, with CSEA, we're hoping to come to more resolutions where we know that we can get a fair shake when it comes down to the classified. And as the legal leader of the classified, I look forward to being able to once again defend the contract, defend California Ed Code and California labor law, but making sure that I voice all type of reflections and thoughts from all classified, because that's my obligation. Thank you very much.
Okay. So I didn't get a sheet, but I'm going to go ahead and adjourn this meeting in memoriam. November 6th, IVC Foundation board member and Irvine's first city manager, William Willett, passed away. He was a huge supporter of Irvine Valley College, the Irvine area for obvious reasons. Aquatics, the William Willett Aquatic Center is named after him. He was a mentor for me and many others in the aquatics world and in the political world. He was a resource, and he will be greatly missed. So thank you.